Hello everybody, how are you? Today we'll talk about festivals and special days. Okay, festival and special days, unit 3. First of all, I want to ask you a question. I want you to think about the answer, okay? The question is, how do you know when it is the start of spring? How do you know when it is the start of spring? Then we have here some vocabulary. The first two words here, parade. Parade is in Arabic موكب أو عرض. Cupboard دولاب. costume زي للمناسبات الخاصة. costume. lantern مصباح أو فانوس. envelope ظرف الجواب أو ظرف الخطاب. relatives أقارب. fireworks ألعاب نارية. breeze نسيم أو هواء عليل. represent يمثل أو ينوب. preserve يحفظ زي مثلا يحفظ أكل عن طريق مواد معينة. preserve. papyrus ورق البردي. serve يخدم أو يقدم خدمة. and conclusion خاتمة أو نهاية. Now let's check this exercise here. It's match the words and their definitions. We have here the first word. For example, celebrate, it means enjoy activities on an important day. Okay? The next word, you will find this exercise in your workbook or student's book, sorry. Number 2, festival. Festival means, yes, an important day with lots of activities. An important day with lots of activities. Number 3, free. Yes, it will be letter B, without having to pay any money. Number 4, special. Of course, C, better or more important than usual. Important than usual. And number 5, represent. Of course, it will be letter D, be a sign for something. Now we have here some expressions and prepositions. The first table here, we can see in the first one, 2-day festival. 2-day festival, not 2 days, okay? ما تنساش الحيفن في النص وانا بكتب 2-day not 2 days. مهرجان على مدار يومين. On New Year's Day. On خلي بالنا من prepositions. On New Year's Day. On the night before. Do activities or do a thing. For example, do activities or do a thing. All over the world, حول العالم. All over the world, the same as this one, around the world. All over the world and around the world. A day with lots of activities. Do you remember that definition? Yes, it's festival. A day with lots of activities. We can say have a picnic. لو انت طالع نزهة ممكن نقول have a picnic or go on a picnic. Have a picnic or go on a picnic. By the sea, the same as next to the sea. By the sea and next to the sea. A month-long flower festival. A month-long flower festival. مهرجان الزهور على مدار شهر. لمدة شهر يعني. وبرضه ما ننساش ان احنا بنكتب هنا او بنعمل الهايفن اللي في النص اللي هي زي الداش. A month long flower festival. The next table here. On an important day. On an important day. Last for يستمر لي أو يدوم لمدة معينة. dates back to تاريخه يرجع إلى. dates back to. For example, this book dates back to 100 years ago. filled with مليء ب أو مملوء بكذا. filled with. at the flower festival. in the town of في مدينة in the town of Alexandria, for example. at midday, at midnight, at night, and the last one here, go on. We can say go on a parade, موكب أو عرض قلنا, go on a picnic, and go on a trip. Okay, this about expressions and the prepositions. The next slide is about the general notes. The first one here, we have three words: 100, 1,000, and million. 100, 1,000, and million. These words, if they are preceded by a number, don't use a plural form, just a singular form. Like this example here. 600, not 600s. 600 people watched the match last month. If they are preceded by a number like this one here, so we will write 100, 1,000, million, and so on. If they don't have, or if the sentence doesn't have a number, so we can use hundreds, thousands, millions. Like this example here, hundreds of people watched the match last month. Hundreds of people. Okay, this is the first point here. Number two, start. The verb start can be followed by to infinitive or a gerund, verb ing. Like the first example here, when do people in Japan start to celebrate spring? Start to celebrate. Or like this example, I started playing tennis when I was 7. Started playing. The next point about the verb make. We have two forms here. We can use the verb make like the first one here, like this one. Make plus thinking object, then unthinking object, plus to infinitive. Or if we put the unthinking object here and the thinking object here, so we will use for. Okay? Make unthinking object for, thinking object to infinitive. Let's check these examples here. For example, the first form, like the first form, this one, okay? This is the first one, and this is the second one. The first one, we make mom a card to thank her. We made mom a card to thank her. So we have here the verb make, mom, thinking object, a card, unthinking object to infinitive. What about the second form? It's like this example. We make or made a card, unthinking object, for mom, for thinking object, to thank her, to infinitive. Okay? The next point about two words, preserve and keep. هما الاثنين بمعنى يحفظ. So what is the difference? Preserve, like this example, fish is preserved with salt. So preserve here means that we preserve something or preserve food using another substances. Okay? Like this example here, we preserve fish by using salt. But keep, like this example, jam is kept in a jar. So keep معنى يحفظ, to keep something out of reach. Okay? Then we have here the grammar books. Let's talk today about present and past simple passive. Present and past simple passive. We'll start here with the present, of course, the present simple. We will talk about the active voice and passive voice. The first table here about the affirmative statements, you can see in the first column the active voice, then here the passive voice. The active voice is like this form. We'll use the subject, then infinitive, or infinitive plus s or es or is. But in the passive voice, we will start the sentence with the object. Then we will put am, is, are plus past participle. Okay? Like these examples here. In the active voice, or the first column, my brother helps me. Or I take this medicine every day. Salma feeds the birds. Okay, this is active sentences. But in the second column, the passive voice, you can see here, I am helped by my brother. In brackets, because you can use it or not. It's up to you. I'm helped by my brother. This medicine is taken every day by me, for example. The birds are fed by Salma. Okay? This is the first table. The second table about negative statements like these forms. Like these forms here. Don't or doesn't plus infinitive. This is the active, okay? Like these examples, we don't play tennis, or Nagy doesn't eat sweets. This is the passive one. We'll start with the object, am, is, are, but we will put here not past participle. For example, tennis is not or isn't played by us, or sweets are not or aren't eaten by Nagy. The next table about yes/no questions. In the active voice, we can ask the question like this form using do or does. Okay? For example, do people speak English in Brazil? Or does Selena study math and science? But in the passive voice, we can start or form the question like this one. We'll start with am, is, are, then the object, then the past participle. For example, is English spoken by people in Brazil? Or are math and science studied by Selena? Okay, the next table about WH questions. In the active voice, we can ask like this form here, question word, like where, what, when, so on. Do or does, then the subject, then the infinitive. For example, where do you buy your clothes? Or who cooks lunch in your family? Okay? But in the passive voice, we will form the question like this. We will start with the question word, then am, is, or are, the object, then the past participle. For example, we said here, where do you buy your clothes? It will be, where are your clothes bought? Where are your clothes bought? Or in this example, we said, who cooks lunch in your family? It will be, who is lunch cooked by in your family? Okay? This is about the present simple, active, and passive.